Once upon a time, two fools, close friends, were traveling together. Throughout the journey, both were silent. After a while, one of them, tired of the silence, said to the other, "Hey, why don't you say something? We've been traveling since morning, and your silence is suffocating me." The second fool glared at him and retorted, "Have I buried you in a grave that you claim you're suffocating? Stop babbling, and if you must speak, at least talk sensibly. Otherwise, keep your mouth shut." Feeling slightly embarrassed, the first fool replied, "I was only trying to make the journey more enjoyable. If you don't have anything interesting to say, at least tell a story. We still have a long way to go, and talking will make the time pass faster. But I guess I was foolish to expect anything from you. You're like a dried up tree, neither providing shade nor any benefit." The second fool, offended, said, "Fine, then. Why don't you start? Tell me about your dreams or desires. What do you wish for in life?" The first fool eagerly began, "I have many desires. I dream of owning a flock of sheep and goats that roam this jungle freely. I drink their milk, make warm clothes from their wool, and sell their offspring for lots of money. That way, I wouldn't have to rely on a fool like you." The second fool chuckled and said, "You've spoken well. I, too, have a desire. I wish to have a pack of wolves that would surround your flock and tear them apart. Then you'd always be indebted to me." Outraged, the first fool shouted, "What have I ever done to you? How can you be so cruel and heartless?" The second fool growled, "Do you think I'm stupid? Your ambition to own a large flock is far worse than my desire for wolves. May you have nothing." The argument escalated, and the two fools started bickering until they physically fought, pulling at each other's collars and rolling on the ground. A passing farmer saw them and intervened, asking why they were fighting. The first fool complained, "He's threatening to destroy my imaginary flock of sheep and goats with his imaginary wolves." The second fool added, "It's his fault for being greedy. Instead of a huge flock, he could have settled for just a few sheep. Why should he get everything while the rest of us get nothing?" The farmer, puzzled, said, "Wait a minute. Where are these sheep and wolves? I don't see any animals here." The fools admitted, "There aren't any animals. We were just discussing our wishes." The farmer shook his head and said, "You're both fools. If you're going to dream, why not dream big? You," he said to the first fool, "should have wished for camels instead of sheep. They produce more milk and wool, and wolves wouldn't be able to harm them." Hearing this, the second fool exclaimed, "Then I wish for elephants. My elephants would crush his camels under their feet." The farmer, frustrated, said, "You two are impossible. Fighting over wishes. Let me teach you a lesson." The farmer grabbed one fool by the ear, which provoked the other to defend his friend. Soon, all three were wrestling. Finally, the fool suggested, "Let's take this matter to the judge." The farmer agreed, and they headed to the courthouse. Before the judge, each complained about the other. The judge, bewildered, asked, "Where are the animals you're fighting over?" "They don't exist," the fools replied. The judge sighed and said, "Wishing for things isn't wrong, but fighting over imaginary desires is pure foolishness. Since you've disrupted peace, I'll send you to jail unless you bring the animals as proof." The fools looked at each other and admitted, "We can't bring the animals because they don't exist. Just send us to jail." The judge, annoyed by their stupidity, decided to test them. I'll release the one who proves he's the wisest. You have to argue and convince me of your intelligence." The fools started listing each other's flaws, each claiming to be smarter than the other. Soon, they began fighting again, leaving the judge exasperated. The judge finally said, "You're all equally foolish. To avoid jail, become each other's guarantors and go find your imaginary animals." Realizing this was their only escape, the fools agreed and left the court. From that day on, they wandered aimlessly, still bickering over their dreams, never finding the animals they had wished for. Moral of the story: foolishness and lack of understanding lead to nowhere. If you enjoyed this story, please like the video, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to English Story Sarge for more entertaining content.